Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, January 19th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. Championship Sunday is set in the NFL, and the college football playoff national championship game is tonight. Let's get to it all. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mac, let's start with the game that is the freshest in our minds. Last night, the Rams in overtime, a 20-17 win over the Chicago Bears in a game where Caleb Williams makes a miracle play on a 4th and 4 with the game on the line, gets pressured by 4 rushers, runs backwards from the 14-yard line to the 40-yard line, throws the ball up in the air, and it gets caught by a wide-open Cole Kmet in the corner of the end zone. The extra point is good to tie the game and send it into overtime, where the Rams go 3 and out on their first possession, and then on the 10th play of a 10-play drive, Caleb Williams throws an interception. Rams then march down the field and get the game-winning field goal. 2017, the final. What was your big takeaway from last night's game?
2 overtime games in the divisional round. Both teams that won the toss lost the game, and both teams chose to kick. And the team that won it simply for no other reason than they had an extra possession. I know you want to know what the other team does, but I feel like we're all approximating a game script where it's like, well, they're going to score first, and then what are we going to do? It was 17-17 after 25 possessions in that game. Just to assume that both teams are going to score doesn't make any sense to me. I would receive the ball. I would think there's a very good chance it's going to be either 2 possessions, 4 possessions, or 3 possessions. I'll take my chances at 3 possessions. So I thought that was
maybe
notable in the 2 divisional round games.
Maybe in the playoffs, but I think in the regular season, I think you have to defer, because if the first team scores a touchdown, and this should happen in the playoffs also, we just haven't seen it, but if the first team scores a touchdown and the second team scores a touchdown to tie them, they have to go for 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because you cannot kick the extra point, tie the game, and then kick the football off in a sudden death situation. Also, what's important though is that in the regular season, it's only 10 minutes. And the game can end in a tie. In the playoffs, There is no tie. And in the playoffs, it's 15 minutes. And so you're not worried about the clock. And so if you get that second possession, you're not limited by the clock in the playoffs, right?
Whereas that's a huge
in the regular season
deal. Yeah. I mean, it could be 60 minutes. It's going to go until you need it to go. Therefore,
exactly.
You're always going to have either the same amount of possessions or 1 extra possession if you receive the ball first. So I think it's true. I think it's true-ish in the regular season, but in the playoffs, there's no question. You don't care about the tie. You only care about your chances of winning. I think that's maximized by doing the opposite of what both teams did in the divisional round.
Yeah, it's interesting. Last night was a very frustrating game for me to watch. And I was on VSiN during the whole game, and I'm screaming to anybody who would listen. I'm tweeting out to anybody who would read it. This was the most confusing offensive game script from Sean McVay that I think I've ever seen. And I thought that it was a disaster last night. It was absolutely a disaster last night. In the first half, the Rams ran the ball 7 times, and they dropped back to pass 34 times. Okay? It was inconceivable. The biggest advantage the Rams had over the Bears last night was their ability to run the football versus the Bears' ability to stop the run,
or lack thereof.
Or I should say the Bears' inability to stop the run. There was the willingness to just continue to drop back and have Matthew Stafford get sacked in the first half. This was what was so absurd. If you look at like the data points, right? It was 7 carries for 30-something yards. It was almost like 4 yards per carry in the first half, and then of the dropbacks from Stafford, he was sacked 4 times. They fumbled twice. They only had like 120 total yards. It was embarrassing. And then in the third quarter, they ran the ball, right? In the whole third quarter, 3 running plays up the middle went for 7 yards, 7 yards, and 10 yards. and yet they still dropped back to pass more times. They only ran the ball 3 times in the third quarter, and they dropped back to pass multiple times. Finally, in the fourth quarter, somebody got in Sean McVay's ear and was like, hey, they can't stop the run. And what did he do? Hand the ball off to Kyren Williams, and Kyren Williams ate up the Chicago Bears. They march right down the field. They take a 17-10 lead. Now, maybe that was part of McVay's plan, was to wait until the fourth quarter to run the football, but there's no excuse for the play calling in the first half of that game, for the first 3 quarters of that game. There's no excuse. This was just a terrible coaching job by McVay. This was horrible. There was no reason. The Bears should have not been in that football game. This was a 10-10 halftime score. This was a 10-10 score going into the fourth quarter. It's embarrassing. And it's why I can't take the Rams seriously next week in the NFC Championship game, Mackenzie, because for them not to take advantage of their biggest advantage in the game last night against an inferior opponent, as far as like their ability to stop you, just mind-boggling to watch that play out last night.
Yeah, the Rams, the number 1 power-rated team in every power ratings entering the playoffs, have to be downgraded. 2 playoff games, 2 kind of coin flip wins, and 2 non-covers. And we see that they are massively, we'll talk about the conference championship, but they were favored in Seattle last time they went there, or a pick 'em. Now they're almost 3-point dogs, 2.5-point dogs. So they deserve to be downgraded massively. I still don't think the Bears are that good. I know they almost made the conference championship game. There was about 15 seconds.
No, the Bears are not that good. The Rams
Exactly.
should be embarrassed that this was an overtime game. Embarrassed. They should have. Blake Corum touched the ball 6 times. Yes, Kyren Williams wound up with 21 carries for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 6 carries in the first half? Like, it unbelievable.
When you're the better team and you win the turnover battle 3-0, you should win the game by 10, 15 points. So
I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what and everyone was tweeting it out. This wasn't just me. The Warren Sharps of the world. Jeff Schwartz, who's a former NFL offensive tackle, he tweeted out about the third quarter. He was like, like the Rams run 3 times up the A gap for 24 yards, and then they decide to do a wide receiver sweep and then throw 3 incomplete passes and punt it away. It's like, what? Like, just continue to do what you're doing. I said this yesterday, and I truly believe this. If we're going to talk about the Texans in a moment, if the Texans took 3 kneel downs and punted the football away on every single possession, they would have had a better chance to win than they did yesterday. If the Rams handed the ball off to Blake Corum and Kyren Williams on every single snap last night, they win the football game. And look, they still won. But I truly believe that if instead of, Stafford 20 of 42, if it was Blake Corum with 21 carries or Kyren Williams with 21 carries, Blake Corum with 21 carries, like, they win this football game. The Bears were never going to stop them.
But they did win the football game. I mean, they get to fight on. They put it in the MVP's hands, and they said he's not going to turn the ball over. I don't know. It's hard to complain too much when you win. I know it's a coin flip, and we should be having this conversation with the loss. But the Bears did everything they had to do to lose the game as well, despite the miracle. I mean, one of the great throws of all time, and it's not going to even be remembered. It's too bad.
I know. The Bears mojo this season, Mac. I mean, all these wins in the final 2 minutes. I mean, this wasn't a win, but this was a comeback to force overtime. I mean, I've never seen a team with this much late game magic in the same season. It's unbelievable what they've done this year. Unbelievable.
Caleb Williams, maybe the 2 memorable throws of the season in back-to-back weeks. 4th down both times.
Yep. Let's talk about the NFC Championship game. So you mentioned that the Rams were favored, or it was a pick 'em. It closed. Seattle was 1.5-point favorites.
Oh, really?
In that game.
I remember it moving back and forth all week.
Yep. Yeah. So Seattle was a 1.5-point favorite a month ago when these 2 teams played in Seattle.
On a Thursday.
The look-ahead line. And that was the game where Seattle won in overtime. Remember, they went for 2 and they got the win, right?
Yep.
The look-ahead line was the same line, Seattle minus 1.5. Now, after this performance by the Rams, the line has changed, and now Seattle's minus 2.5. That makes sense to me because the 1.5 never made sense to me. Because if you looked at you can't tell me that we don't adjust both of these teams since that game a month ago.
No doubt.
Because we saw the Rams after that game lose to the Falcons. Then, yeah, they beat the Cardinals, but they struggle with the Panthers in the playoffs and they struggle with the Bears in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, they beat up on that same Panthers team that gave the Rams trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they completely shut down the 49ers, and then they completely dominate the 49ers again. Right. Seattle's been better over the past month than the Rams. So for it to be the same exact line at -1.5 made absolutely no sense. So seeing it now at 2.5, I agree with it because I didn't think that they'd put it at 3 because you'd get so much Rams money if it was +3. So I think -2.5 is the right line here for Seattle against the Rams.
I think it might close 3. There are some rogue 3s popping up. South Point, if you're living in Vegas and you love the Rams, go there right now because you're hardly going to get a better number than that +3. Remember the Seahawks dominated the first game that they played, and Sam Darnold had 4 turnovers, and that was the only reason the Rams split their season series. So this is much like the Bills-Broncos to me. It's very hard to argue the Seahawks aren't the better team, but in the fourth quarter, do I want Sam Darnold or do I want Matthew Stafford? Stafford definitely did not look great Sunday, but the breadth of his career, hard not to think, at least if it is close, and it might not be close, the Seahawks might be winning by 20, but if it's close, I want the Rams.
Okay, well, Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions in that first game. He threw 2 interceptions in the second game.
Yep.
So that's 6 interceptions in 2 games against the Rams this year. And then you look at the games against the Rams last year, where he threw 1 interception in the playoff game. He threw, what was it? No interceptions in the regular season game, but he threw 1 interception and got sacked 9 times in that game. So we're talking about the last 3 times he's played the Rams, he's thrown 7 interceptions.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a lot.
So I mean,
and he's dealing with an old.
So we upgrade the Seahawks, we downgrade the Rams. But we have the same problem though. You're gonna have to bet on Sam Darnold versus Matthew Stafford, or not.
I know. It feels like, I mean, it feels like teasing up the Rams is the right play, but like there's no dance partner for it. Like, what else are you going to tease it with, right? An open teaser for the Super Bowl, I guess.
Duke in the ACC. Can you do a cross-sport teaser?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you want to tease Indiana down tonight, college football playoff national championship game? I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. You don't tease in college football. That much I know.
No, I would not do that. Let's talk about the AFC. Yesterday, Mackenzie I thought I had the greatest tweet of all time. And you know something? It didn't really get that many likes, and I'm very upset about it because
everybody's head.
I thought it was hilarious. It really was, I think, right? I think it was over everybody's head. I tweeted out that C.J. Stroud's performance was the worst quicksand performance that we've seen since Shane Falco in the 1996 Sugar Bowl.
Falco, like in Super Smash Brothers? Over my head on that one.
No.
Shane Falco sounds like a made-up person. Is that the guy that threw the ball over the mountains?
No. The movie The Replacements? Keanu Reeves?
Okay, all right.
Do you not know who Shane Falco is?
Now I knew I recognized that name. All right, now I'm with you. All right. Did he actually have a quicksand performance? He had a terrible game in the 96 Sugar Bowl, and they called him Shane Footsteps Falco, right? Because he was
and
hearing
threw the ball to the other team multiple times. Yeah, threw the ball to the other team multiple times, and then when they had the team meeting for the Washington Sentinels, and they said, what's your biggest fear? And Shane Falco said quicksand, and it was like, he's like, one thing goes wrong, and then another, and then another. I'm pretty sure you can't move, like you're stuck in quicksand.
That's a pretty good Keanu Reeves. That's one of your better ones. I mean, it's an easy one.
Yeah, it is an easy one. It is. Yeah, it's easy. Low hanging fruit there. But that was the worst half of football I've ever seen a quarterback play from C.J. Stroud yesterday.
Which half?
And I don't think it's even close. No, the first half.
Okay, yeah.
The first half. Like,
I don't know if he was much better in the second
I don't
half.
think we've ever. No, but I don't think we've ever seen a quarterback play that bad. Forget about like the interceptions were inexcusable. Some of them, like he threw the ball up for grabs instead of taking a sack or spiking the ball into the ground.
The first play, they have the ball up 10-7. It's like a cartoonish. I'm gonna throw it as high as I can in some random direction. That was picked six, and from that moment on, or before that moment, I think 3 yards on a cloud of dust would have been better. If they just never threw the ball when they were up 10-7 the rest of the game, they would have done better.
And then also the very next drive, he almost did it again. He almost did it. He did it again, but the ball wasn't. It wound up landing incomplete. But he did the same thing. It was the same exact throw. And then every throw he made after that was low, high, away.
He tried to fumble the ball away.
It got to the point where, I mean, I have serious questions about DeMeco Ryans as an NFL head coach, because I understand you want to have faith in your guy. You could not have kept him in that football game. He was a detriment to your team. And here's the thing. NFL teams need to stop holding this old school mentality of, I have a starting quarterback and I have a backup quarterback, and that's it. There's no reason why you can't remove a quarterback from the game for a series or two and then put him back in.
College football style.
Okay? At that point, yes. At that point yesterday, late in the second half, CJ Stroud is costing your team their season. Your defense is playing their asses off. He is turning the football over. The players, nobody has confidence in him. He doesn't have confidence in himself. You have to pull him from the football game. And you put Davis Mills in, a veteran, even if all Davis Mills does is hand the football off 3 times and then you punt the football away. You take your quarterback out of the game and you let him sit and catch his breath. And you just let him sit there. And then if you want to put him back in the second half after he has a halftime to regroup and talk with his coaches, fine. I'm okay with that. You cannot put him back out there for another possession where after the Patriots score, it's 21-10, and then he throws another interception. And then thankfully your defense held the Patriots to a punt, and then you went 3 and out, right? But like, for him to throw that 4th interception there, inexcusable. He shouldn't have been in the game. You have to put your backup in at that point. And if anything, and I tweeted this out, you gotta give your team a spark. Maybe they rally around Davis Mills for a possession or two. But the body language of the Texans players was terrible. Every time Stroud he was throwing murder balls out there, getting his players hurt, which I think is why, like, at the end of the game, DeMeco Ryans waved the white flag. He punted on 4th down with 4 minutes left in the game in a 2-possession game. I understand it was 4th and long, but he punted. And I think that was him just saying, I don't want my guys to get hurt anymore. Like, the game's over.
You might have a better chance to win with your defense on the field at that point.
Well, that should have been the case the entire game. That was the worst first half of football I have ever seen played by a quarterback. He literally cost his team their season. The defense played well. The Patriots did nothing in that game yesterday to impress me. I'm sorry.
Stat of the year.
I don't want to take anything away from the Patriots season. Go. What'd you say? Stat of the year? What?
Surprising stat of the year. Who do you think had a better QBR in this game? CJ Stroud, Drake May. They're nearly identical at 21.
That's hilarious.
But by fractions, it was actually CJ Stroud. Because, man, I felt like I had this game right, but I didn't handicap the quarterback being that much worse than the other quarterback. And QBR isn't everything. Obviously, turnover plays matter a lot more than, EPA plays at the end of the game. But
yeah,
they lost this game because, so I hear your argument, and I think in a vacuum, if they replaced him after the first play, which, by the way, was a wide open receiver that hit 3 yards to the ground to the left of him, and they're like, oh, the conditions. And I'm like, he didn't do any warm-up throws. If you would have replaced him in the first play or after the 3rd turnover or in the second half, probably you would have, in hindsight, have a better chance to win this game. But it's never done. It's like, yeah, I wish every coach – no, I've never seen any coach do it. I mean, have you? Replacing a healthy quarterback because they're sucking. I haven't seen it. I mean, how do you explain it? Like, to your fan base all summer, you get the business aspect of it. You're trying to sell tickets.
I think you have to do it. You had to do it. He was so shook, Mackenzie, that you had to take him out of the game. And then listen, you can put him back in the second half. You had to take him out and let him sit and calm him down. You absolutely had to.
I've never seen a quarterback like that rattled. Like, the ball in his hands was sliding.
Yes. The Patriots, and this is a tweet from Carson Breber from the Volume Sports. The Patriots are the first team since 1987 to win a playoff game with 250 yards or fewer, 13 first downs or fewer, and 3 or more turnovers. The last 30 teams to post those numbers all lost their games by an average of 21.3 points per game.
Wow.
The Patriots had 4 yards per play. They were 3 for 14 on third downs. They had 5 sacks against them, and they won a playoff game. That's unbelievable.
3 for 14 on third down. You tell me that stat, I'm like, all right, the Texans are going to cover and the game's going under. Neither of which happened. I mean, it was all
It's just
CJ Stroud.
Yeah. It was all CJ Stroud. Absolutely embarrassing. And now we look ahead to the AFC Championship game, where I think we have one of the most egregious errors in judgment by the sports books that I think I've ever seen. And it is probably I don't do like game of the year. This is the game of the year for me.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Every Friday from 6 to 7:30, it's NBA Happy Hour on FanDuel, your pregame for the weekend. We're talking limited time specials you won't want to miss. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all dropping in the app during happy hour. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app to see the week's special. Then, make your move before the shot clock expires at 7:30 Eastern. It's the perfect way to start your weekend. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, and Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
The Patriots are 5.5-point favorites in Denver in the AFC Championship game, Mackenzie. And for those who are listening to this pod and don't understand why, Bo Nix, the quarterback of the Denver Broncos, fractured or suffered a broken ankle late in the game against the Bills. So he is done for the season. And Jarrett Stidham is going to be the quarterback now for the Broncos in the AFC Championship game next week. The look-ahead line in this game, Mackenzie, was Broncos -1.5. There's no world, with all due respect to Bo Nix, I'm a huge Bo Nix fan. There's no world in which Bo Nix is worth 7 points to a spread. Okay?
No. I agree.
What?
I agree.
What'd you say?
I completely agree. It's insane.
Yes. This is Bo Nix this season. Again, I'm a huge Bo Nix fan. I love the kid. I made a lot of money betting on the prop of the Broncos to draft Bo Nix in the first round. Yep. Great win there. I've won a lot of money betting on the Broncos and Bo Nix. But Bo Nix ranks this season 13th PFF overall grade on quarterbacks, 15th in total QBR.
Right.
He's 26th in quarterback rating, And if you look at some popular composite rankings, which combines everything like PFF, QBR, the turnover worthy plays, like the bad throw percentage, and then the CPOE, completion percentage over expected, like all that stuff, he ranks 15th. So we're talking about a middle of the road quarterback. Yes, he had a great gutsy performance against the Buffalo Bills, but let's not all of a sudden rewrite history and say that Bo Nix is a top 10 quarterback in this league, because he's not. He is not worth 7 points to a point spread. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are. Bo Nix is not.
Right.
The Patriots minus 5.5 in Denver, a place that has the number one home field advantage in the NFL, that is a joke. This is my favorite bet, best bet, game of the year, whatever you want to call it. I am on the Broncos plus 5.5.
I love to look at Fezzik's quarterback rankings here, and we might disagree, and we do, on several quarterbacks. But the general premise is your best quarterback in the league is going to be 5-6 points better than average. Your average starter is going to be 1 or 2 points, or going to be average, but your average like good starter, like Bo Nix, for example, maybe he's 1, maybe he's 2. And then your average backup's negative 2.5. I think very optimistically, if you're like, well, he proved it, he can play in the playoffs, he has the eye of the tiger, I'm going to say he's 2 points better than an average quarterback. I think you're smoking dope. I think he's more average than that, but okay, I'll give you +2. That means you're saying Jarrett Stidham's like the worst second-string quarterback in the league, or like a middle of the pack third-string quarterback to be 5 points worse than that, or 7 points worse than Bo Nix?
So
I don't see it.
So let me bring this up, okay? I'm going to talk about Jarrett Stidham for a moment. I did this on VSiN on Saturday night, and some people, we tweeted out the video, and some people, didn't agree with me and laughed, made fun, whatever. Let me give you a little background on Jarrett Stidham. Solid quarterback at Auburn, right? Didn't exactly blow anybody out of the water. Was a very highly recruited kid, but, decent quarterback at Auburn. Gets drafted by Bill Belichick. Do you think Bill Belichick knows football, Mackenzie?
Yes, he does. He has a great quarterback system for it.
Okay. So Bill Belichick drafts Jarrett Stidham to be Tom Brady's backup. And then after serving as Tom Brady's backup, right, think that he was going to get the starting job the next year when Brady left in 2020, but they bring in Cam Newton, and Cam Newton becomes the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator in New England with Jarrett Stidham, then gets the head coaching job in Vegas and brings in Jarrett Stidham to compete for the starting job in Vegas because he knows his system and trusts him. And then in 2023, Sean Payton, looking for a backup quarterback to Russell Wilson, signs Jarrett Stidham to a 2-year, $10 million contract. At the time, go look at the salaries in 2023. A $4 million cap hit for Jarrett Stidham in 2023 made him the 4th highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL. Other guys that were ahead of him, Jacoby Brissett in Washington, right, who was with Sam Howell competing for the job. Taylor Heineke in Atlanta, and Taylor Heineke was coming off like we had the playoff win with Washington, right? Like everyone knew about Taylor Heineke being a good backup quarterback, right? And then Mitch Trubisky in Pittsburgh with Kenny Pickett was a high paid quarterback as well, like him and whatever. 4th highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL. If Sean Payton, a guy who we know knows quarterbacks, we know knows football, if he's willing to make Jarrett Stidham the 4th highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL in 2023, we got to trust that he believes in this kid's ability to play football. And so, yes, Bo Nix was great. Is Jarrett Stidham going to do the same things that Bo Nix can do? No. He's probably not going to run as much as Nix ran. He's not going to utilize his legs. But maybe that's going to help out the Broncos. To move this spread this much is so disrespectful to this Broncos team, and I think is a gift to us as sports bettors that we get to take the Broncos as home dogs plus 5.5 against the New England Patriots.
So let me try to play devil's advocate, because I think 4 points would be a lot. 7 points essentially doesn't make any sense to me. So was there any other reason to upgrade the Patriots or downgrade the Broncos here? And I would say absolutely not. The Patriots had 7 first downs through 3 quarters. Like, they had a really bad game versus a defense that's probably equivalent to the Broncos defense. All right, do we downgrade the Broncos? I mean, they gave up 30 points. I don't know. The Bills looked like they had to work pretty hard for those 30 points. Josh Allen under 50 QBR. I got to agree with you. I mean, is the rust factor that much? Like maybe if Stidham isn't bad, is it just because getting thrown into this gauntlet is too much for a quarterback? Nick Foles came in pretty easy for the playoff run.
Yeah, and the Patriots had a hard time dealing with him. Remember?
Exactly.
Listen, this is also the Bills. Last time the Bills played the Patriots, Bills scored 35 points against the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
So we have a common opponent over the last month or so, and it was the Patriots losing 35-31 to the Bills, and yet it was the Broncos winning 33-30 over the Bills. So I just think that I know that I might sound like I'm disrespecting the Patriots a bit here, Mackenzie, but I just want to spit out facts. The Patriots had the 32nd ranked strength of schedule in the NFL this year. They literally had the easiest schedule in the NFL. And in the playoffs, they got to play against a Chargers team that had no offense and specifically no offensive line, right?
Yep.
And they win 16-3, where they sacked Justin Herbert infinity times. But you know what? Like the Broncos also did the same thing to the Chargers in week 18, right? The Broncos won 19-3 against the Chargers in week 18. And then the Patriots play this game against the Texans, where C.J. Stroud plays the worst half of football that any quarterback has ever played. So, do I know how good the Patriots are? I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
Their offense has been very much disappointing. You could say their defense has been better than expected in the playoffs. I'd say that's mostly turnover related or offensive line related. And they played two warm weather teams going up to New England in wintry weather, as Joe Buck called it. They're facing a team that's going to be very used to playing in Denver. Sean Payton, 10 playoff wins in his career. Mike Vrabel, 3. I think you have a coaching edge, too. I think Payton can draw up 60 plays for Stidham that he feels very confident in. I would say the Broncos might win this game or should be live to win this game, but plus 5.5 seems too much.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get 6, obviously,
just
much better.
Way too much. Way too much. All right, that'll wrap up the NFL conversation. We'll do more this week on the coaching hirings and stuff. Obviously, Harbaugh with the Giants, Kevin Stefanski with the Falcons, and whatever other coaching hirings are going to come down this week as well. Real quick, let's get into the College Football Playoff National Championship game, which is tonight. We are on Miami plus the 8.5. The 8.5 is no longer available, Mackenzie. The market has moved. It is now Indiana minus 7.5. The question is, does it get back up to 8? Does it get back up to 8.5? Or was it enough respected money here over the weekend to push this line down to have it stay at 7.5? I think still at anything north of a touchdown is a play on Miami. The look-ahead line in this game was 5.5. It was Indiana minus 5.5. Now, in the semifinal, Indiana blew out Oregon. That's great. But it's not like Miami barely got by. Yes, the final score was close against Ole Miss, and yes, they needed to score late. But look at what happened in that game. Like Miami dropped 4 interceptions in that game. They should have handled Ole Miss. Like that game shouldn't have been close. The only thing that we have to judge and compare these teams is common opponents, I guess, right? Where in this last month, we saw in the last calendar 30 days or so, whatever, we saw both teams play Ohio State. Indiana won 13-10 in the Big Ten championship game. Miami won 24-14 in the college football playoff. Miami was better against Ohio State than Indiana was against Ohio State. And what Miami is going to be able to do in this game here tonight is run the football. And I think the commitment to the run is going to be the X factor in this game. And other teams abandon the run against Indiana because Indiana's defense is so great. Miami's not going to abandon the run. Miami ran it 51 times against Ole Miss. They ran it 37 times against Ohio State. The team that ran the football the most against Indiana this year was Penn State. 33 times they ran the ball, and they should have won that game, Penn State. Indiana escaped with that incredible toe tap touchdown at the end of the game. I think Miami has a commitment to the run. I love Miami plus the points here tonight. Miami's also playing at home, which I don't think can be understated.
Right.
This is like, Mackenzie, what do you think? What do you think about this? Because we've seen it now twice in the NFL, at least.
Yep.
right, where the team is playing the Super Bowl in their home stadium, and both times that home team has won, right? The Tampa Bay Bucks won, the LA Rams won. Do you think that it is beneficial for a team sleeping in their own beds, working out in their own weight rooms, practicing in their own facilities, in their own locker rooms, playing in their own stadiums? Or is it too much of a distraction with family and friends and people asking for sideline passes and whatnot? Do you like the road team on the business trip that gets to stay in the hotel and then go to the walkthroughs and go to the meetings and then go to the field and play? Where do you fall on the home field aspect of this for Miami?
You know, in most sports, I think there's value on road teams because of that business trip aspect of it. But that's because oftentimes these teams aren't as max motivated or as focused as they could be. So some road games where the team's favored in road, I just think that's a great spot in the NBA especially. Here you get max motivation. No matter what, it's all they've been thinking about the last years, their whole life, especially the last few weeks. I think anything that can make you more comfortable. We talk about people blacking out in the first quarter of the Super Bowl because of how extreme the emotions are. Anything that you don't have to think about, like you said, sleeping in your own bed, having the same sight lines and warm-ups, I think that's massive. I think it goes 3-0 here. I think Miami might win this game largely just based on that.
Yeah, so Miami plus the points is the bet here for tonight. If you're looking for a prop bet, up on FanDuel right now, Mark Fletcher, the running back for Miami. His yardage is at 69.5. Nice. I want to go with his rushing attempts. Mark Fletcher Jr. for Miami, up on FanDuel, over 16.5 rushing attempts. Like I said, Miami is not going to abandon the run tonight. They are going to stick to their guns, even if Indiana stuffs them time in and time out. What Miami can do with their strength, their offensive line, is just wear down this Indiana defense. And I think that as much as, like, yes, you can say that Carson Beck's going to have himself a great game, sure. But Mark Fletcher is going to be the bell cow. He is going to be the workhorse. He rushed it 22 times against Ole Miss. He rushed it 19 times against Ohio State. He rushed it 17 times against Texas A&M. 3 playoff games, he has gone over 16.5 rushing attempts. Now, he's also gone over the yardage, 172 yards against A&M, 90 yards against Ohio State, 133 yards against Ole Miss. Indiana's run defense is so great that I'm not, quick to go to the yardage,
right.
But the attempts, I think he gets over because I don't think Miami, even if Indiana stuffs them the first 10 times, Miami's not going to stop running the football.
Well, I think the fear is that they will because the game will be over. So it's kind of correlated. Maybe it's 2 legs of a same game parlay. I feel like if this is a regular game, a back and forth game like Miami, Ohio State or Miami, Ole Miss, then it likely goes as course. So if you don't think it's going to be like LSU over Clemson with Joe Burrow and kind of just keep that narrative going where it's not even close and it's a team of the century. If it's close, Miami probably plays like Miami.
So let's build a same game parlay.
Let's do it.
You can't do the rushing attempts though on the same game parlay.
Well, let's do the yards then because we're going to need success, not just attempts anyway.
Leg number one. Yeah. All right, leg number 1, Miami plus 7.5.
Yes.
Okay. Leg number 2, Mark Fletcher Jr. over 69.5 rushing yards. Leg number 3, I want to go Indiana wide receiver Elijah Surratt over 56.5 receiving yards. Not only is he their go-to guy, not only is he like the top wide receiver that Fernando Mendoza trusts, but also keep in mind that Miami in the first half of this football game, because of the stupid, dumb targeting rule in the college football, Xavier Lucas is going to be suspended for the first half of this game. So Miami is going to be without one of their best secondary players in the first half. So I think that the game plan for Indiana might be to attack the Miami secondary in the first half. So give me Elijah Surratt over 56.5 receiving yards. Those 3 legs are plus 418. And if we're going for a 4th leg, let's go Malachi Toney for Miami over 61.5 receiving yards. Now, he catches a lot of – the only hesitation I have with Toney is that he catches a lot of those short screen passes. and that's like kind of Miami's entire offense is those short screen passes.
Can we do receptions?
Like he had, but the receptions is at 5.5, so he would need 6 receptions. He had 5 catches against Ole Miss for 81 yards. He had 5 catches against Ohio State for only 16 yards. 5 catches for 22 against Texas A&M. I just think I'd rather go with the yardage only because he's a home run threat. So every time he touches the football, he can just go. And you know what? Maybe, actually, here's what I'd like to do. Forget about Malachi Toney, 61.5 receiving yards. Let's go Malachi Toney over 75.5 rushing and receiving yards. There could be a chance tonight that they line up in the Wildcat and let him run, or they find ways to get him the football. And there's always those opportunities where if it is a screen pass, Mackenzie, what if it gets ruled that the pass was actually backwards?
Right.
And instead of being a pass, it winds up being a run. And we know that he is the guy that catches all these screen passes for Miami. So let's eliminate that bad beat aspect of it by getting a pass that's technically behind the line of scrimmage, and let's go Malachi Toney over 75.5 rushing plus receiving yards, plus 822 on the same game parlay.
I like it. It's a good Monday.
It is a good Monday indeed. All right, don't forget, you can follow us all on social media. We are going to have more college basketball content here as we progress post-football season. This is the final game of the college football season. Very disappointing to see it come to an end because this has been like one of the most profitable college football seasons we've ever had. So, I mean, 73% on the picks, Mackenzie, this season in college football. That's like unheard of.
Let's go.
Like who does that?
Nobody.
Who does that?
Literally nobody ever does that. Except for us this year. Let's go.
Our college football record this year is 42-15-1. How is that real life? I mean, I just wish every day was college football. Like this is, let's just dominate tonight and let's end the season on a high note and enjoy. Maybe it's a straight win, a same game parlay win, prop wins as well. Let's all cash together. To find out how you can become a Better Day Insider or a Premium member, just click on the link on the homepage that says Elevate Your Betting Game and join our community where we are building a community of like-minded individuals, everyone sharing their plays, guys that are talking about how to hedge bets, just giving advice to each other. Really is a great community that we have, and we want you to join us and be aboard with us as we continue to grow here towards the end of football season and into what is next to come. So very excited about the growth opportunities that we have in front of us here at Better Day. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.